Hello and welcome again to the predicted 11. It's a huge game for Bolton, who host Bradford City in the playoff semi-final first leg, and of course it's at the Tough Sheet Stadium, so really important to try and get a lead to defend into that second leg at Valley Parade. 46 games done in the regular season now, and Bolton still very much have a chance of achieving that goal of promotion. There's been so little between the sides this season though. Both league games finished level, and obviously a couple of weeks ago at Valley Parade it was 1-1. Actually quite an encouraging display though from Bolton. Probably a bit aggrieved not to take all 3 points, and that bodes really well for the second leg. But right now the focus on the first leg, and here's how I see the 11 shaping up. So a quick disclaimer before we get into this. As you'll see in my lineup, I've got Johnny Kenny. We've probably all seen speculation, rumour, whatever you want to call it, on social media that he's picked up an injury. Look, all I can do at this moment in time is go off what's official, and that is what Stephen Schumacher said in his pre-match press conference, that there were no fresh concerns from the Luton game. So that's what I'm basing this on. Fingers crossed that's the case, and obviously he's in the lineup against Bradford. Of course, managers can keep the cards close to the chest, maybe tell a few fibs here and there, especially for a big game. So who knows? But fingers crossed that's the case, and he's available to play. So going through the team now, starting with the obvious one in goal, Jack Bonham. Saved a penalty at the weekend, and I spoke a bit last week about how he's kind of brought that calmness to the Bolton back line. A few mistakes in there as well that he'll be keen to stamp out, but someone who I think Bolton fans can feel pretty confident with between the sticks. Given the pressure on this game, like I say, that experience, that calmness, hopefully will come in handy, and hopefully that doesn't bite me in the backside. So in defence, probably the main talking point is I've gone George Johnston at left back. Obviously missed out last Saturday with a bit of an injury, but as far as we're aware, should be back in contention for this game. I've kept Toll and Farino at centre half. Obviously, you want that consistency going into the playoffs, and also the physical attributes. Bradford put it on you. They put crosses into the box. They've got players who are really tough to play against in that regard. So I think their physicality is a big thing for that. And Johnston as well will, certainly help in that regard. Obviously, Max Conway played at left back at the weekend, but a bit more of an attacking choice. And I think with Jordi Osei-Tutu at right back, you do want Jono in there for that kind of balance. I suppose right back's the other debate, potentially Cyrus Christie, someone who's a bit more defensive minded. Again, got those physical attributes, but I think primarily you want Jordi in there for his pace to stop those crosses coming in. And also, he's played the most games this season. He's got that rhythm, that sharpness. And yeah, especially in the home leg, with what he can do going forward, you want that in the side as well. I mean, we saw a brilliant finish against Luton. And if he can pop up with another one of those, that would be the perfect time. Midfield now, and I've gone with Josh Sheehan and Ruben Rodriguez again. Again, I think there's a bit of a debate to be had whether perhaps a Zav Simons comes in, or Ethan Errahan perhaps. He's back in contention now, we believe, but probably too risky for the latter. Obviously, has not played in about a month now, maybe slightly longer. And also for Simons, he got some minutes under his belt last week, but it would be a big ask to come straight into a playoff game like this. And also, like I say, with it being the home leg, you want Ruben Rodriguez, his quality on the ball. You want his kind of attacking impetus to try and get on the front foot and take control of the tie, really. On the wings, again, pretty simple stuff, really. You want Cozy Adubri in there. He's a big player who can pop up with those big moments, who might win you a game like this. And Ibi Sissoko obviously has been in great form. Brilliant finish last weekend. And yeah, no reason to take him out of the side, when he's playing well, confident, loving his football. So those are all pretty obvious, really. And then in attack, as I mentioned, the Kenny situation, that's my thinking on it. The other interesting kind of talking point is, will Sam Dolby be back in the side? Obviously rested last weekend with a bit of an ankle/calf issue. Certainly expect him to be in the squad, but it's a case of whether he's in from the start. With what Schumacher said in his presser, it sounds like probably not. But again, is the head coach playing some games? You don't know. You never really know in these types of games, especially. But I've shown a bit of caution this time, going with Mason Burstow. And obviously we saw him play a little bit deeper with Kenny actually being the sort of lone striker or the leading striker, if you will. And I think that's an interesting one with, that versatility we've spoken about before in the Bolton attack. But listen, if it's Burstow, if it's Dolby, they've both proven this season that they are reliable, that they are dangerous, that they can chip in with those important goals. And I think if Burstow does get a start as well, it's really interesting because there's no denying that after the way he started the season, it's probably not gone how he would have wished in the past few months. Slipped down the pecking order a little bit, played out on the right at times. And sure, he's still come off the bench and had a big impact, scored some important goals, but he'll be just desperate really to make the most of any opportunities that come from the start. And I think whether he starts or not, I think he can still have a big say on these playoffs. So that's my 11. It'll probably all be wrong come 8 p.m. on Saturday or 6:45 will it be when the lineups are out. I lose track with all the mental mass you've got to do with the weird times they announce it these days. But yeah, I'm sure obviously we'll see what happens, and probably you can tweet me or comment whatever I've got wrong and all that good stuff. But yeah, hopefully the main thing is that Bolton can get through, or at least put themselves in a good position to get through in the second leg. It's going to be a brilliant atmosphere, big crowd, and yeah, I can't wait. Those playoff ties are ugly, aren't they? They're gritty, they're nervy, they're horrible to watch in many ways, just because of the nerves, the pressure. But hopefully Bolton can sort of land that first blow, get the early confidence, and then never look back from there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading, I should say. However you've been taking in this lineup, and yeah, we'll be back with loads of coverage on the website, on the channel, playoff stuff. We've got so much preview stuff on there right now, build up, that sort of thing. And yeah, fingers crossed we can be talking about a win in the first leg.